All right, guys, we got another fun topic for you today about AI and women and what to expect. So I think this is an exciting topic to talk about because AI is really blowing stuff up. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to ChatGPT. ChatGPT 4, I think, is just about to come out, and that's going to allow more visual rather than simply chat related stuff. But the point here isn't exactly ChatGPT, it's that what AI has in the future, because we've started to see a lot of AI porn already start to come out. And what's that gonna mean for relationships? What's that gonna mean for dating when we are going to have AI, probably AR, as an augmented reality porn? And you know, we already have some of that, but I'm talking fast forward a few years from now, really immersive stuff. What I think is so interesting about this is that there are two big things that we have to look out for. The first is this is going to destroy the OnlyFans and pornography industry in general. Now, I don't know if entirely there are not going to be any more human females doing sex work, but this is going to substantially disrupt the industry. And what you're going to see happen is that only women who are really at the top of the game in terms of understanding the psychological triggers in men, like, they're going to have to really play on fantasy, and they're going to have to really play on emotional connection with their followers. It's going to have to be more like they're going to have to make men fall in love with them rather than simply lust after them. Because if they're not able to hammer this emotional element, and let's be honest, very few of these women are going to be able to do that, they're going to get replaced, because AI will be able to digitally create for these people whatever they want. We're going to get to the point in the coming decades where guys will be able to, or women too, right, will be able to input what kind of scene they want to see, and the AI will generate it for them. So you will be essentially making your own movie, and you could do that for a regular movie, and people are going to do it for porn as well. So the silver lining, of course, is that it's going to destroy prostitution industry. It's going to make it so that all these girls are not going to be doing OnlyFans, and you know, there's probably going to be a lot less sex trafficking, because we know that adult actresses and sex trafficking really go hand in hand. But what is that going to mean for human relationships? Because if you're able to have porn that's so immersive, be able to get whatever fantasy you want, why on earth would you want to get into a relationship with a woman? I think this is the question that a lot of people are asking, that are very afraid about, because we've already seen how, as technologies move forward, relationships have started to fall apart. And now that we're sort of hitting this singularity point within the decade, where AI is going to be, you know, destroying educational institutions, it's going to be destroying everything, right? That's what everybody sees. It's going to be destroying everything. Well, here is my white pill. Ever since the Industrial Revolution, you could argue even earlier than that, but let's say 100% since the Industrial Revolution, we have been moving away from our humanity. Before, you'd have people who were farmers, artisans, they were working with their hands, they were working by their own sweat, and then they started to be put into factories where they were essentially, you know, working with machines, but essentially augmenting machines. And as time's gone on, people have had to essentially, you know, we've been losing jobs and having to compete with machines to do these machine tasks. So if you're not, you know, we need less workers, we need the workers to be higher skilled. Increasingly, only parts of the supply chain that can't be automated are going to actual manual workers. And this has been going on for a long time, but you know, a lot of these factory jobs, this isn't like when you're an artisan or a craftsman, when you're really putting your heart and soul into a chair, right? You have to, each one is a little bit different in some way, because each one has your own handmade etched mark on it, versus just you're literally part of an assembly line. Now so a lot of work started going to white collar, and white collar work is now going to be going the same direction. And so if industrialization disrupted the manual industry, AI is going to disrupt the information technology industry, because people who are doing basic kind of coding or are in legal and really every single clerical white collar profession is going to see tons of people just disappear. Education for sure, because AI is going to be able to provide these answers in instantaneous fashion. They're going to be able to put everything together, not even just provide some information. They'll be able to put the information together as, and it's not to say that it's not going to need some polishing from the individual. The human's always going to have to be working with AI to make sure AI is producing exactly what the human wants. So it's an iterative process, but that's going to be very smart people who know what questions to ask the AI, know in their mind already mostly where they want to go with things. So where am I going on with all of this when it comes to dating and relationships? Well, my contention is that most of this blue-collar industrial work, this old-school industrial work, and then this white-collar work is really soul-crushing. It's not stuff that makes us feel more human. We've had to operate first like machines, then like computers, in order to find value. And now we're at a point where machines and computers, especially together, are going to be able to do all that stuff for us. So where does it leave humans? Well, I think for most people, it's going to leave them with nothing, because they don't know how to be human. And I do think a lot of people are going to get subsumed into this AI escapism. You're going to have people who essentially spend their day lost in some sort of AI fantasy, jerking off, and they're not going to have any meaning to their life, and their life is going to collapse around them. But I think for other people who are taking a more spiritual path with this stuff, who are finding out who they are, I think AI is going to be the best thing that ever happened, because it's going to liberate them. It'll free them from themselves. It'll free them from this burden of having to do things they don't care about. And in the context of relationships, it's going to redirect relationships away from transactional elements and towards deeper, emotionally connected interactions. So in the past, relationships were about survival. Men and women had to come together to make families, and they had to come together to survive in the world. There was loyalty based on that, and there were strong families based on the fact that you needed a strong family to survive. As we've had more abundance, that's frayed. More optionality, that's frayed, and people have become very pleasure-seeking. But there's a certain point of hedonism where you can't get anything else out of it. And I think what you're going to see happen is and I've already seen it in my space, that there are individuals who are creating an integration where men and women are really connecting with each other on such a deeper level than they have before. They understand each other. There's masculinity and femininity, but there's also like a soul understanding, and each of the individuals have independent agency. It's not like masculinity, femininity by requirement, and it's not depolarized and filled with frustration. These people are spiritually growing, and they're growing together, and no AI fantasy is going to replace the connection that these two people have. So what we're going to see fundamentally is that some people are going to be subsumed by AI, and other people are going to be liberated by it. They're going to become more human because they're going to stop trying to compete with AI. Right now we have this program in our mind that, a woman needs to, and I look at this like AI is also fantasy. So it's like porn. Women have to act like porn stars. They have to act like this perfect little thing. Men have to act, you know, like super alpha, whatever. They have to do X or Y or they're not going to be desired. And it's like all based on this shame and this guilt and trying to live up to some sort of superficial idea rather than really saying, hey, you know, I'm tired of being ashamed. I'm going to be who I want to be. I'm going to be open to who I want to be. And to have within a relationship that them and the woman face themselves and become closer through the process, dropping so much bullshit, superficial requirements. I think it's going to be deeper and more profound. Do I think it's going to happen to most people? I don't know. It's going to be a split, that's for sure. Probably more people aren't going to make it than people are going to make it. But the ones who do make it, it's going to be a golden age for them and their children. And I look forward to being a part of that. And I hope you're going to be a part of it too. And the first step to doing that, of course, is to understand yourself and understand women. Understand how to attract women. Understand how to be more human in the sense of what are the triggers that a woman has, what sort of psychological impulses do they have, and where are your own emotional blocks. I cover all this stuff in my masterclass, which is provided in the link below. And if you want to work with me, I also recommend that you apply because I work through all those deeper issues with guys. And the masterclass material is something that we also work with throughout your personal situations so that you can grow into a man who can not only attract, but keep the woman of his dreams. See you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.